Okay, so calling these recommendations is a bit of a misnomer. This is really just an excuse for me to talk about random books. Hello everybody, my name is Danny and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to talk about some books. So a couple weeks ago I was reorganizing my shelves and I realized that there are some interesting color combinations used on books that are actually pretty common. And so I figured I'm gonna make a video to talk about them because I thought it was really interesting. I didn't really notice that these color combinations were used as often as they did until I saw so many of them on my shelves. So I have two different groupings here. The first I'm going to talk about is books that are yellow and teal, and I have 5 examples of that. And the second one is purple and lime green, and I have 4 examples of that. So we're just going to start with the yellow and teal. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is In a Cottage in a Wood by Cass Green. This is definitely much more teal than it is yellow, but like it still has that pop in the fonts that I think is really cool. And also, this is like the least teal of the teals. Like it just, the color teal is just different than the other examples that I have, but it still fits. And I have not read this book yet. It is something that I hope to get to this month. I will be getting to it this month. We'll just say that I have to read it this month for a couple of reasons. And it is a horror book, and I don't know anything beyond that. But yeah, this one is definitely the most subdued of my examples, I would say. Next up, we have Dealing in Dreams by Lilium Rivera, which I think is a much brighter example of this color combination, not only because the colors are much brighter and less subdued than in A Cottage in a Wood, but just because the design on the cover, you've got like all these flowers and this bird up here. It's just more visually interesting, in my opinion. And then like carries onto the spine, and then the back is bright yellow. And then you take off the dust jacket and it's like very yellow with the teal lettering on the spine. So I think this is a very good example, and I think this is the one that I noticed first where I'm like, that's a very interesting color combination. And this is an LGBTQ sci-fi. And next we have another book that I haven't read, but it's the last on this list that I haven't read, I promise, and that is Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. And I'm just now realizing that I have named one of my characters in a project that I'm working on Mary Choi, which the Korean pronunciation of this is Choi, but I have heard this author in an interview pronounce her last name Choi. That's very interesting. I didn't do that on purpose, but whatever. Yeah, so this cover is blue and white, but then the spine is neon yellow. And when you open it up, there's still like not a lot of yellow until you get to the end papers, which are bright. So it's like a very interesting case. It also has this weird see-through dust jacket. But yes, this one is just as bright as Dealing in Dreams, I think, but the positioning of the colors I think was very interesting, how like it's just the spine and then the inside of the book, whereas like the cover and underneath the dust jacket on the hardcover there's like no yellow whatsoever. Then we have Mob Psycho 100 Volume 2, which is like the most yellow book I have ever seen. So this is the cover, and you see it's got like the teal text, and then the back is also bright yellow, and then the spine is black and white with just the teal here. And I love this series. It is my favorite, well, and I hate saying like something's my absolute favorite. It's one of my favorite manga slash anime of all times, and it's about a middle school boy with psychic powers. And I think it's super duper fun, and not all of the covers are bright like this, but they all have like really interesting images. Like here, Mob is sitting in a crop circle in a cornfield or whatever. And yeah, it's a very fun series, a very weird series. And our last example of teal and yellow books is Only Everything by Kieran Scott. I almost said Kate Bryan because Kate Bryan is Kieran Scott's pen name. This is the first book in a series. I believe it's called the Something True series. And It is a Greek mythology retelling following a female Cupid, and she goes to Earth to be a human for a little while. I read it in high school and I really loved it. I have like all of the books signed, and I think that's super fun. I got to meet this author on a couple of occasions, and she's amazing. She's from North Jersey, so that's great rep because I'm also from North Jersey. But yeah, if you're looking for YA Greek mythology retelling, this is a pretty fun one. Moving on, we come to my books that are purple and lime green, which I personally like a little bit more than the yellow and teal, just because purple is my favorite color, and while I'm not a big fan of lime green, I do love green in general more than I like yellow or blue. And so the first one I have for that is My Sister the Vampire. This one is called Fangtastic. It is the second book in a series. This is a children's book that I've had since I was like 8 or 9. I think I bought this at a Scholastic book fair in school, and it's just so nostalgic for me. It's about twins, and if you didn't know, I am a twin, and so I really like reading about twins, and it's just really, really cute, and I'm never gonna get rid of it because it means so much to me. Then we have When Did You See Her Last by Lemony Snicket. This is the second book in the All the Wrong Questions series, which is a prequel to A Series of Unfortunate Events, one of my favorite book series of all time. And this cover is absolutely stunning. I love all the illustrations and everything. The illustrations, does it say who they were done by? It just says Seth. It's really weird. I don't know why he doesn't have a last name, but he does all the illustrations for it, and the end papers are also bright purple, and I just really, really like this book. I think this is my favorite example of this color combination that I currently own. Next up, I have Elizabeth Webster and the Court of Uncommon Pleas by William Lashner. This is a spooky middle grade book, and it follows Elizabeth Webster, who becomes a lawyer for ghosts. And I thought it was super cute and fun when I read it, and I would like to read the other two in the trilogy. This one is very much mostly purple, but you can see up here it's got some green and a little bit of yellow, but like, I still think it fits. I am counting it for this color scheme. And the last book that I'll be talking about in this video is The Witch King by H.E. Edgman. This is the first book in a duology. The second book came out this year, and I really want to get my hands on it. I just haven't had the opportunity to yet. This is LGBTQ high fantasy, though it's like a little bit urban fantasy. It's kind of in the middle. But this cover you might be looking at and saying, I don't know where you see this lime green. There's like a little bit of teal in the sky, but like it's just purple and a little bit of regular green. Well, if you look under the dust jacket, that's where the lime green comes into play, and it is very bright. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but like this is the brightest green I've ever seen a hardcover be, and like it's also green here. So yeah, it's not very purple and green on the outside, but on the inside it's all over the place. And this is a really good book, and I would highly recommend it. So those are all the books that I wanted to talk about today. I know that I haven't read some of them, others I have and I've loved. Some of them are skewing more towards one color or the other in their pair, whereas others have more of an even blend. But I just thought it was really interesting that these kind of like really bright, uncommon color combinations were sort of more common in book covers, and I just wonder if that's like kind of a tactic to get people to notice them. But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you know of any other books with these interesting color combinations, because I think they're really fun. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.